I don't know if I have any advice for that. Maybe you did bite off more than you can chew.
And you're going to have to grind your ass off. And it's going to be tough and it's going to suck.
I am religious about my Google Calendar. Building that habit is critical. Well, welcome everybody. Welcome to Roofer2Roofer. This is your opportunity to ask any question that you have about the roofing business to either Scott, who's the owner and founder of Rainstoppers Roofing and STR Consulting, or myself, CEO, co-founder of ProLine. And so you got the tech side of the roofing business and the ownership side of the roofing business here. So if you guys have any questions for us, feel free to ask those. We always love answering y'all's questions. Until we get any questions from you guys, we're going to just go through the ones that we have queued up already. So I'm going to pull out a question here. And by the way, we do have to break a little bit early today. So I think you got 30 minutes, right, Scott? Well, you have 5 minutes now.
30 would be good.
So we'll do fewer questions today than normal, but we'll get some in. We'll start with a real good general one. How can I avoid getting burnt out in the roofing business?
Yeah, that's a great question because it happens to, I believe it happens to everybody I know. You got to take some breaks. But it's got to also be strategic. I mean, like, you can't just, if you don't have your business in a point where you can step away or at least pull back a little bit, you got to get it to that point, right? So, like, for me, I think I was not ready for this. I wasn't trying for this. So it was 5 years before I took time away from the business. And when I said took time, I don't know that I ever took a day off until about 5 years in. So once I finally got to that point, then I started taking a little bit of time, and I did it more so as tests. I would literally just say I was taking a week off from the guys. I'd still be at home, right? Like I was still here. They just didn't know it. And it was just kind of a test, see what would happen. And then finally I was like, you know what? It's going good enough. Yeah, there's some issues, but none of them are catastrophic. They're handling it, in stride. So we started taking more and more time away. And honestly, I think it's fed my my ability to be kind of the innovator and the idea guy again. I'm not really working on procedures or processes as much. We have a great process in place. We got great procedures in place. Now I get to kind of sit back and spend time away from the business and work on things that, new ideas, new strategies, and put them in the hands of people to take those and try to implement them. And that's what I like. I like to be the idea guy, so the time away helps me with that.
Here's how roofers make it home for dinner every single night without losing a single sale, even when they're one-man shows. Automate your communication with ProLine, the only communication-first CRM for roofers. Because when you fix your communication, you'll sell more jobs. Your weekends will smell more like sunscreen and backyard barbecues than that crappy gas station coffee. And all you got to do is ask these roofers.
Before we had about 200% growth, and I attribute that to incorporating ProLine.
But just with one automation, I was able to get 25 Google reviews.
It's been absolutely insane how quickly we were able to grow.
Now, ProLine's not going to win the beauty pageant, but it will save your Saturday. Now, back to the show.
Let me see. I was going to try to contribute here. I mean, it's a different kind of business for me, but for me, the burnout hasn't always come when I'm working the most. Like, it is more likely to come when I'm working the most, but I've reached the point too where I can take some time off. I think that a big contributor to burnout is when there are too many problems that seem unsolvable, like things where you're just like, reach that point where like, I can't make progress. It's like everything's broken, but I can't make any progress towards fixing it.
I think I don't know if I have any advice for that. It's just like try to avoid getting into that situation. I think on the one side I think one of the best ways to sort of overcome it is sometimes you just got to step back and go a little smaller. And what I mean by that is like maybe you did bite off more than you can chew. And sometimes that's what burnout is telling you. Is like
Going too fast.
you're growing too fast, or you need help, and you need to slow down and bring somebody else in to help you with XYZ thing before you can move fast again. Or it's like there's usually something missing. There's something missing. And so like yes, sometimes like taking some time off that can help. But sometimes I've found that's like sometimes the best thing, like sometimes if you try to take some time off when everything's breaking, you're just gonna be stressed out. You'll be even more stressed out because it's like things are going wrong. And so it's like sometimes the best thing to do for getting burnt out is sometimes you just need to take a step back and find some alternative solutions. And maybe maybe you just have to slow everything down and like focus more on the things that matter. I know it's kind of vague advice, but
I think the closest I ever got to like truly burning out and like hanging it up burnout was we almost went into bankruptcy, and this was like 3 years into business probably. So it's 8 years ago, 9 years, something like that. It's been a while. But regardless, I'll never forget it. And what you're saying is exactly right. It's not just the time. Like at this point, I was 20, I don't know, 26 or something like that. I was still young. I was hungry, full of energy, didn't have a care in the world. I did have I think I had one kid maybe at the time. I don't know. It doesn't matter. I just remember coming home and like, I wasn't in tears, but I felt defeated, right? Like, I can't figure this out. And I was trying to just, get better, get smarter, and try to do new things that would make a better business. And finally, I just told my wife though one night, I said, I know what I'm going to do. And you're not going to like this, but you're probably not going to see me for the next couple months. And she said, no, I know. You got to. And so I would start work at 5 a.m., 2-3 hours before any of my guys would show up. And I mean, tool bag strapped on, going like hell. And I would stay there until I couldn't do it any longer. 10, 11 o'clock at night. I'd literally go home and sleep, and I'd do it again. And I did that for like 2 months. And I dug myself out of a financial, absolute hole, and was able to literally turn it around over 2 months and got the company right back where it needed to be. Don't get me wrong, there was a lot of work to do after that, but I was able to breathe again, and we were on the right side of things. We didn't have any debts anymore. Like we got all of it cleaned up and taken care of. So, but what you're saying, once I just swallowed that pill, like, fuck it, I'm going, right? Like it's time to step up. The burnout kind of went away because no, let's compete. Let's get our drive back. Let's hustle again. Let's go after this again. But it takes, there's something you got to swallow deep down to get past that burnout feeling and get that drive again. Sometimes it's time off, but like you said, sometimes time off only complicates that worse. And for me at that time off would have killed me. It would have wrecked me. So
yeah, sometimes you need more, not less. More work, or at least different. Something needs to change. Almost
I get back into business and get back into swinging the hammer and
a new way.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, for sure. So it's definitely nuance, but cool. All right. So along the same related question here. Let me just check, see if we have any questions. Okay. What are some good time management tips for roofing business owners and how to manage your time?
Yeah. So this is one that I teach almost pretty much everybody that comes to work for me is, in sales or production. And and I think it's such a old school tactic. I know you do it a little bit of a new school spin on this, but I give them a yellow notepad, and the way I do it, I actually had a business coach, the first one I ever hired, and this was one of the first things he showed me, and I've never let it go. Get a yellow notepad, and I like the notepad. I don't like the digital crap. I like writing it down and scratching it off with your pen, right?
Yeah.
And so every night, at the end of the day, your day's over. You've got to start. You sit there and you think of anything that you got to do tomorrow, and you put it in order, highest priority to lowest priority. You can make 2 lists. You make 3 lists on there. However you see fit to do that. You can put times next to them. It doesn't matter. It all needs to be on there. If it's just call AJ at 2:00, write it on there. So it's part of that list. I used to put phone calls on it all the time. Just call this guy back. So you write it on there. Tomorrow comes, you go through the list. You start the high priority stuff. You start checking that stuff off as best you can. You just start hammering through that list. What that does is now your time is solely directly focused on tasks at hand. You're not straying. You're not going a different direction. You've got a list of tasks. That's a checklist. You're beating through them, right? You have to be efficient to do that. You can't, if you're really trying to get through that list, you have to be efficient. As the day goes on, tasks come up, right? What I always did was I always had kind of 2 lists, one at the top from last night and then today's down toward the bottom. And I would write things down. If it's high priority, I'd write it up at the top, maybe with a note, immediate, put a star next to it, call someone that left me a voicemail, whatever. At the end of that day, you've crossed off as much as you could. You got through as much as you could get done. At the end of that day, you sit down, you go through today's list, everything that you wrote down throughout the day and what you didn't complete from yesterday, and you tear that piece of paper out and make a new list, high priority to low priority. You do that every day. It's such a simple thing to do, but I'm super ADHD. So for me, the problem is I get in the truck. I've got an agenda for the day. I kind of know 3 or 4 things, major things that I need to do, but there's 20 little things that I need to do. The problem is as soon as I pull out of the driveway, I forget 18 out of those 20 because they're not super important. And guess what? I go do some other dumb shit that really didn't need to be done or someone else should have been doing, right? And my job should have been just making sure they got it done. It's an easy way to keep yourself on track, checking off tasks that are priority for you each day.
Yeah, I think taking out, a lot of stress comes from just not knowing what you need to do. So just identifying what it is that you need to do and writing it down so you don't have to hold it in your mind anymore, I feel like it's just massively opens you up to be able to actually knock down those things, because it's really hard to focus on knocking down the first thing when you got 8 things that you're like, oh, I need to do that, I need to do that, and I do that. You just get on a list and you're like, okay, it's there, it's on the list. Like, I'm gonna get to it later, so I can focus on just the one now. I think that's absolutely critical. I do like the physical. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say you kind of get. This is a time management question, and it literally you're going to get through these things faster because no thinking about what do I need to do next. No, it's right there. Like, just go. Like, go get this done. Go get this done. Now you're done with this. Get this done. Like, there's no driving around the block. Well, I could go over here. No,
you know what to get.
It's really simple. Like, it's really simple. And it's not even driving around the block, sitting in the office. Instead of picking your phone up to scroll Facebook, get the next damn thing off the list done. And that's what happens, especially I see like office type guys. And they get the thing done they were asked to do. They got 10 more to do. But instead of just jumping in that right thing, because it's not right in front of them, black and white, they find something to burn their brain out for 30 minutes just because it's not in front of them to hammer out.
Yeah.
But,
yeah. I mean, I like the physical. I feel like it just would not work for me. But I think the physical aspect is interesting. Maybe I need to try it because I feel like it would actually be. The thing is, often when I think of things that I need to do, it's like I'm in the grocery store, and so like I want to be able to always put it down. So I do what you're talking about, but I do it through my phone. I was doing it on Apple Notes. But I actually just switched recently to the To Do app on iPhone, because they redid it. It was really bad before, but they redid it, and it's like because they realized that so many people, I think they knew that tons of people were using the Notepad for to-dos, so they overhauled their To Do app and made it a lot more like the notes. And so it's like it took all the things I liked about doing it on the Apple Notes, and then it just is now in like a more structured format. So I do that, and then I do what's called the Eisenhower matrix. So Eisenhower matrix is now, later, delegate, or ignore. And so it's like you put everything into one of those 4 buckets. Now, if it's ignore, it's like what you usually do is you end up putting everything on the now because everything's like so important in the moment. So you put everything on the now, and then the now starts to get big. And then periodically you look and be like, okay, what on this now list is something that I can delegate? And you move it over there. And then what on this list is something that I can ignore safely? So instead, get it out of here, move that over to ignore. And then what like is not urgent right now, and like move that over to later. So I do that kind of periodically, probably like once or every other day. But then everything kind of goes on to the now list, and then I just focus on the next thing. Like you're saying, I've just gotten the habit of like I just look at it constantly. So it is kind of right in front of me because of that. And in anywhere I am, I can, like if I'm, I could be sitting down, at a restaurant or something, just think of something, be like, and just to get it out of my head before I forget it, because I'll be scared I'll forget it. So just to get it out of my head, I just put it in there real quick.
Have I told you the whole idea behind the physical nature of it?
I think we have in the past, but say that again. Say it
So
again.
the whole idea, it's a psychotic thing that happens, right? So like you've got this notepad and you've got all these tasks wrote down. What you're supposed to do is cross it out, a little bit of authority, cross it out, and then fist pump, go yes, like that, right? There's an endorphin release that happens in your brain because you like forced an excitement.
Yeah.
It's very minimal, obviously. This isn't like, something crazy.
Yeah, snorting cocaine every time.
Right. This isn't like a shot of meth. But there is a small endorphin release that takes place when you force that excitement. Yes. And you have to do it out loud. You can't just do it in your head. You got to do it out loud. So I look like a knucklehead for like 6 months doing this, right? Driving around my truck. Yes. And I did it. I did it all the time. And I swear it created it as habit, because your body now is like, I can't leave that notebook anywhere. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I've got now, because I don't have as many tasks. I'm not so scatterbrained. I've got good people and good places helping me with things. I'm not as good about it. But because I still believe in it, both my trucks have a yellow notepad, my backpack, my suitcase. I literally have yellow notepads in all these areas that if I forget mine, I've got one sitting somewhere that I can get. So because I still do utilize it. I'm not as good about day to day as I used to be.
Yeah. That's super interesting. Yeah, training your mind on to get that payoff, even if it's tiny, just like over time. And it probably grows over time. So
Yep.
The reaction is stronger. That's amazing. Yeah, building that habit is critical when it comes to focusing down. I like that. The other thing I was going to throw out about time management is I am religious about my Google Calendar. So I schedule everything on there. I schedule when I'm going to eat lunch. I schedule when I'm like sitting down, like my segments of the day that are going to be spent on like specific tasks. So the way I often will do it is like I have my to-do list that I'm managing. But then if I can, I like to do it either the day before or like the start of the day. Um, especially if I have a lot on that to-do list, then I'll like take what's on the list and transfer it to my calendar and actually block out time. Like I think it's going to take this long to do this task, so I'm going to put that here and actually have it on my calendar. And then it's in two places, and I've kind of like transferred it to my app, like translate it to my day. So it's like, no, at this time I need to be focused on this. I can't be, and then so not only is it's like on the list, but I also know exactly what I'm supposed to be doing at that time. That helps me a lot too.
I like that.
So, cool. All right, I think we got time for one more question here. If you guys got any questions, I don't see anything in the chat or anything, but I can grab another one here. So this is related to the topic that we've been discussing, but what would you say is a healthy work-life balance for a roofing contractor or owner of a roofing business?
I mean, it all depends on where you're at, because what I don't really agree with is thinking you're going to come into any industry. This isn't just roofing. I'm not like some prideful roofing guy. It's any industry as an entrepreneur or business owner, and think that you can put a lesser amount of time into the company than your competition. You're going to get beat. Like that's just, maybe you're smarter, but chances are his work ethic's going to trump your intelligence. I believe that wholeheartedly. AJ, I'm going to guess you know that all too well. You weren't a software developer, but you outworked all the software developers. It's not real hard to figure out. I'm stupid. Like I've got some knowledge now. I'm not saying I'm still completely stupid, still dumb, but 10 years ago, I was an idiot. I knew nothing. I knew nothing. We're by far leading my local area without doubt in the roofing business. And honestly, in any residential construction, we're by far the largest. And that's simply because I outworked them. Most of them were smarter than me. But I outworked them. So, you can't say what's going to be a good work-home life balance without understanding that there's going to be a significant amount of time initially that there isn't going to be a balance. And you're going to have to grind your ass off. And it's going to be tough. And it's going to suck. And you're going to have hardships with your family to do it. Like if you have a family and you're thinking about starting a business, I was very fortunate. I started this multiple years before I had kids. I couldn't imagine starting this business with children. So, I like I said, I was fortunate that I did that early. But you better understand, you're going to have some, and I still had 2 years of it. But there's going to be a significant amount of years that you're not going to get to go to all the ball games, go to all the practices, go do the weekend stuff. That's just the way it is. Now, once you're established, to answer your question, I think once you're established, very rarely do I work more than an 8-hour day. I've been done working for a while to sit here and enjoy talking to you for a little bit. And as soon as this is over, I'm going to a ball game, but I didn't finish working out this morning until 8:30. So it's not even like I got a late start this morning and trying a new routine. It was a late start working out, but I did some other stuff first. So regardless, I didn't really start my work day till like 9:00 today.
Yeah.
But I got seen the boys this morning, did a few things this morning with them. I'm going to ball game this evening, so I think you really have to get established and then switch that gear and then try to make up lost time. You try to make up lost time because you're going to lose it. That's just part of it. And if you don't, you're probably going to lose the business. I mean, you can't have your cake and eat it too. Something has to give. There's only so many hours in a day.
Yeah.
There's always someone hungrier too. Always someone that's going to be hungrier than you are.
Yeah. Yeah, and business doesn't care, unfortunately. Like it'd be nice if it did, but the market, your competition, and the realities of your business does not care if you have kids, if you don't have kids, doesn't care how much you like to golf or how much you want to go on vacation. It just doesn't care. Like it's gonna you're gonna get out what you put in. And I think you're totally spot on. I think that work ethic will always trump working hard will always trump working smart. The only time working smart beats uh anything is if you have two people that are both working insanely hard and one of them starts working smart as well. So the working smart using all the tools and the automations and the processes and like all these things, they are an accelerant on existing hard work. They can't replace it. But then, yeah, you're like you earn the right later on once the business is established to be able to have a much more relaxed work environment. Um, but that's something that you got to build to too, and it's something that's earned.
Yeah.
I can't. I've seen so many examples of people that try to do that too early, and it's like doesn't work. Like it doesn't matter if you're it doesn't matter if you're ready. Like a lot of people might how your day is laid out. Some people might be like, well, I want that too, but it's like they're if they try to do that too early in the business is going to suffer massively because of that. So it's like you got to push and earn that ability to do that.
Couldn't agree more.
So, all right, so we'll wrap it up there. Thanks, Scott. Thanks, guys, for joining us, and we'll let you get off to the ball game.
I appreciate it. Thanks for letting me out early.
Yep. All right. I'll talk to you later. See you guys later.